What's going on, guys? This is Mr. DeLorean here. Welcome to a brand new video. And today what I want to take a look at is the teaser for Season 10C of The Walking Dead, or aka The Walking Dead in production. Also, before we do hop into breaking this down and everything, I did want to say that all of this will be linked down below, so you all go take a look at it too. But without further ado, let's hop right into the teaser. So the teaser starts off with something that's a little bit cool to me and I think probably not to everyone who's more interested in the show than this. But we start off with some of the camera and crew members, like, you know, obviously all with mask on and everything, since obviously this was all filmed during the pandemic. But I think it's really cool to see the cameras that they're using, and also that'll probably be a separate video, but I did want to dive also into the fact that they will be doing different things with how the show will look with the cameras, because the show will have a very different look to how The Walking Dead's been looking for the past like 10 years. But they're all filming out in the woods and everything. I just think it's cool and everything just to see the cameras, the crew and everything, just how it's being filmed during all of this. Next we get Season 10C Daryl, official Daryl and everything, which I guess Season 10C Daryl isn't much different from Season 10B Daryl, since it's not too big of a time jump. We see him pulling a arrow out of a walker's, like, you know, head, or I'm assuming a walker's head, and we do get to see someone kind of behind him, walking behind him, so I'm assuming this is someone that we're going to see further into the teaser, or we're going to get to see more of further into the teaser. Also, this is probably a very tiny nitpick, but during this one specific scene during the trailer, I can hear a tiny bit of noise, like maybe Daryl grunting, like very, very quietly, but then I didn't hear the sound of him pulling the arrow out of, like, the one I'm assuming Walker's head, so I can't tell if that's maybe a sound design error that maybe, like, you know, they forgot to add in the sound of, like, you know, him pulling the arrow out of the Walker's head, because usually there's like a bit of a gushy sound of him like ripping out of the Walker's head, but usually it's a trailer where they don't include like a lot of noise from the show and everything, or the scene going on. So I do wonder if that was a bit of an error, which it doesn't really matter or anything, because trailers usually have that where there's like tiny like technological errors with sound. But I just thought that was something funny to point out if you guys did watch it, or the one that I will link down below. We also see this metal like panel behind him, or possibly a metal crate, or maybe a building. So I do wonder if maybe they're like, you know, checking out a place that maybe someone like tipped off like towards them, or maybe if they're just like, you know, checking out a place that they've just seen, or they're just scavenging in general. Which obviously after the hilltop's been burned down, the kingdom's gone, obviously Alexandria's been invaded, they're probably going to have to rebuild up tons of stuff and get more and more supplies to, like, you know, feed and fend for their people. But he has this, like, you know, poncho on that he had in his one episode with Carol, which is cool to see him back in. In this next shot, we get to see probably the first biggest thing in this entire teaser. So we pretty much get a shot of, yet again, the crew, which in my opinion looks really cool, and they're out filming in this, what looks to be the outwalls of Alexandria, possibly the hilltop, but more of it so Alexandria, since the hilltop kind of has more of, like, you know, more wood walls than, like, you know, metal, but, you know, they kind of have that too. But I'm heavily assuming that this is Alexandria. They're all heading back towards anything to see, like, you know, the aftermath of what happened. We see Maggie, Daryl, what looks to be Kelly, and maybe some other people in the background. But who do we see right between Daryl and Maggie? We get our first official shot of Herschel Jr., which is just awesome, because he kind of looks like, you know, like he looks like Herschel Jr. from the comics, and he also has the classic, like, it looks like Glenn's cap on and everything. Obviously it's not, like, you know, actually Glenn's cap, but he has a cap on like Glenn did back in like season 1 and 2, especially when he got low. I hope you know, Herschel Jr. doesn't get lowered down to any wells. He should probably stay away from them. But that's awesome that we get our first official shot of him, since like we not know what he's looked like since, like, you know, we saw him as a baby, and obviously since Maggie just took him away in season 9. But obviously with him being introduced this season as kind of what looks to be maybe like 6, 8, maybe 10 years old, I do wonder how he's gonna react to, obviously, like, he's gonna be able to understand stuff a little bit more. So I do wonder if he's gonna meet Negan this season, which obviously if, like, you know, Maggie and Negan are gonna have a moment, obviously Herschel Jr. is going to meet Negan, which is just gonna be very interesting to see, like, you know, how they are together. And obviously, you know, Negan's just gonna be straight up with the kid if he could if, like, you know, Herschel Jr. could like, you know, just understand stuff more now, and Negan's just gonna be able to straight up with him and everything and just say, like, look, this is what happened, unless Maggie already told him, which I'm pretty sure. Next we get the sequence of shots of Gabriel and Aaron pretty much out in a field, just, like, you know, out in the middle of the woods and everything, with backpacks on, just scavenging. Now there was a table read of an episode that I'm assuming they will have together with Gabriel, Aaron, and one other person, which we'll get into a bit later into this teaser. And in the table read they were highly intoxicated and just, like, drinking and having a good time. So I'm assuming we're gonna get an Aaron and, like, Gabriel based, like, possibly episode or subplot. that. But we see a walker kind of hanging against like, you know, a kind of pole that I'm assuming Gabriel took and killed, and I'm not sure, but it looks like they might be being surrounded by walkers, since I think we did see some by the gate, like, you know, this broken up gate and everything near a truck, like, you know, near them. And next we see a shot going around Eren. I think we do see some walkers around him, and I'm assuming since they're gonna be doing an around shot of them, like, you know, just going around both of them, and especially the next shot of Gabriel, like, you know, going and like slicing down a walker, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get like, you know, a nice badass sequence of them being surrounded by walkers and them just killing the walkers together and everything. So like I said, probably gonna be an Eren and Gabriel based episode, or like, you know, plot point in an episode where they're gonna get some screen time together, which will be very just nice in general. Because in the table read where, like, you know, where they were together, it pretty like they were talking about, like, you know, Gabriel not be like being wanting to be a preacher anymore, and then Eren saying, funnily saying like, I'll kick your ass if you don't preach anymore, which is funny. But yeah, I can't wait to see how they're like they are together and everything. They have had some moments in season 10 and obviously like way earlier and everything, but I just can't wait to see more of them, and just in general, just like because both their characters have evolutionized, like that's not even a word, have evolved so much together and everything. I just can't wait to see just more of them in general. I do wonder if they'll run into some whispers on their journey. Next we do see a clapboard going down in front of the princess, Ezekiel, Yumiko, and Eugene and everything, all like, you know, with weapons up and everything, as they're being surrounded by the Commonwealth soldiers inside the train yard. So I'm assuming that they're gonna have a moment like right before they get thrown into the train carts, because, you know, it's a Walking Dead staple for if you get surrounded, you get thrown into train carts, just deal with it. But you see them all surrounded by Commonwealth soldiers, just how they were right in episode 16 of season 10, the finale of season 10. Well, I'm not sure if that's technically the finale, but you know. But we see them surrounded by all the Commonwealth soldiers and everything, and this is probably just when they're saying put your weapons down and everything. Eugene makes eye-to-eye contact with that one Commonwealth soldier. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty badass shot that I would love as my computer background. But also in another table read that they did release over the past couple of months, we do get conversations between Yumiko and Eugene and Ezekiel while they're in train carts, and I think pretty much Yumiko, or not Yumiko, pretty much Princess is trying to break out of one of the train carts and find a way out, but she sees Eugene in another cart and everything through like a little peephole, and he says, like, you know, he gets really angry at her, and he pretty much says, like, you know, I was stupid, we got caught and everything, don't like screw us up, don't get us killed, don't put us in more trouble than we're already in. And then she ends up just like, you know, just listening and giving up and just staying put until Ezekiel opens up, like, you know, one of the top parts of the cart and everything, because he escaped from his cart, and pretty much saying, come on, we're gonna get out of here and everything, these people are crazy. So that in general is gonna be very interesting to see how that goes all between them and everything, just their plot point, because you know they're gonna get introduced to the Commonwealth and everything, and I just cannot wait to see how that's just gonna go in general, just to see more of the Commonwealth. And next we get a pretty big shot, which is an introduction of a brand new character to the Walking Dead universe. Now I'm not sure what his name is and everything. I know he's like, you know, I think he's one of the big actors that are joining, like, you know, the Walking Dead this season, but pretty much this is one of like the 3 people that were in the Gabriel, Eren, like, you know, table read, and this was like, you know, the one other guy that they were talking with, where he just walked into the room and everything as, like, you know, Eren and, like, you know, Gabriel were having a good time drinking, and he pretty much, like, you know, introduced himself, and Gabriel said, who are you? And he pretty much said, you know who I am. And I think I heard that this is actually, and this stunned me when I first heard this, that this is actually one of the people that Gabriel left outside of his church to die, like, you know, get eaten by the walkers, because, you know, that thing that happened in season 5 that Gabriel confessed to, and that this is one of the guys in everything that, like, you know, one of the people that he left outside to die, and I'm assuming, you know, he didn't die. But in this scene, it looks like, you know, maybe he's like, you know, finding Gabriel and Eren and everything, taking off his hoodie, revealing who he is. It looks like they're in maybe some form of warehouse or whatever, telling by, like, you know, the background of him. It looks like, you know, one of those chain, like, you know, gates that you open up. But this would be very interesting and everything, especially for Gabriel, since, like, you know, it'll be very awkward since this guy was pretty much left out to die by Gabriel. So I wonder how they're going to, like, you know, end up, you know, getting together and everything, because I'm pretty sure this guy will have a couple questions to ask Gabriel. Next we see Carol rising up from the ground and everything, like, you know, she's in her classic season 10 outfit. So some bows on her back, or some arrows on her back, and a bow on her shoulder. And it looks like she's in the middle of the woods, possibly getting out from inspecting a walker. Maybe she killed a whisper that she found on the wild, I have no clue. But it does look like we see some smoke, like, you know, in the background, like, you know, near the woods. So I do wonder if this is maybe, like, you know, near the hilltop and everything after, like, you know, it was burned down. And this is maybe, like, you know, some smoke just still blowing, and I think some fires are still going. Obviously that Barrington house will take, you know, months to burn. Byrne. So I do wonder if this is her maybe checking out one, like, you know, the soldiers that died during that battle. But overall, I can't wait to see, because this looks like she's alone or anything, or she'll probably be with Daryl. But I do wonder, like, you know, how it's going to go on their solo episode, because there was another table read for their solo episode, which I can't remember right now. But we're just getting into another one of the biggest shots in this entire teaser. So we pretty much see Negan here and everything. He looks kind of just like, you know, classic Negan, just from season 10. He just doesn't look any different from season 10. But we notice that the color grading on this shot is super different from like anything else we've seen in The Walking Dead. Like, you know, well, not necessarily different from anything we've seen in The Walking Dead, but it's very prevalent in all of the flashbacks in the show and everything, where it usually just gets tinted yellow. It looks like you're looking through a dirty piss, like, you know, toilet bowl, but it doesn't look bad. I know that made it sound really bad or anything, but it looks yellowish pretty much. Like, that's how it looks when there's a flashback. We see Negan here pretty much smiling and anything, or giving a bit of a grin, kind of just like, you know, winking at someone. And this is the second, or more so, like, you know, one of the biggest shots in this entire trailer, or more so teaser. We get our first official shot of, like, you know, Lucille, aka Hillary Byrne, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's wife, playing Lucille, which, and like, you know, I really cannot wait to see how she makes this character her own. They did do a table read that I do want to do a complete separate video on or anything very soon, with her and Jeffrey Dean Morgan actually reading out lines and, like, you know, showing like shots, or more so storyboards from the episode, or animated storyboards from the episode, which I'll break down like, you know, in the future. But I'm assuming, like, you know, Lucille was what Negan was, like, you know, winking at and everything, probably trying to make her laugh and everything, and just, like, you know, being Negan. And we see Lucille here and everything. She does look very sick and everything, obviously from the cancer that, like, you know, she was diagnosed with in the comics, or more so now in the show, because she has, like, you know, bags on her eyes. She clearly has, like, you know, the wig on and everything, because she had to shave her head, which will probably be a very emotional moment in the show and everything, which is, it'll just be a very depressing, down episode, but very cool also to see, like, you know, Negan's backstory, since the episode is titled Here's Negan. So she has on, like, you know, a green wig and everything. It just, overall, it's just really cool to finally see her and Hillary Byrne in, like, you know, the full Lucille, like, you know, attire. But telling about, like, you know, the woods and, like, you know, the background of the Negan shot, and the woods in the background, the trees just in general in the background, the Lucille shot, I'm assuming that they're in the same scene, that these two scenes are connected. We get another behind the scenes shot of all the crew and, like, you know, the pretty much the crew and the camera people all getting a shot of Elijah just chilling. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a video before or anything, but this character, the masked character's name his name is Elijah, and the person that does, like, or will be playing Elijah was casted, and I'll put a picture on screen now of who was casted as Elijah. But I don't know why, but Elijah looks very chill in this shot. Like, he just has, like, you know, his hands in his pockets, or in his pockets and everything. I'm assuming this might be just like him just chilling off to the side. I think the actor's chilling off to the side, not even like a shot from the show, but I hope it is a shot from the show, because he just looks really chill, like he's having like a nice funny conversation with someone, possibly Maggie. But I do wonder if this is in the woods and everything. I do wonder if this is, like, you know, when they're all at the rendezvous point, this is all them just talking, reuniting, then they're just like, who the hell is that? And he just introduces himself, which I really hope, because that'll be a really funny scene. Next we get a shot of Jerry and Carol hugging and everything, having probably an emotional moment, since it looks like Carol's, like, you know, possibly crying. It looks like Jerry's, like, you know, about to cry and everything, but he's, like, you know, hugging her before, like, you know, she and he do. And I think Carol yet again is in her classic season 10 attire. Maybe they're, like, you know, crying and, like, you know, hugging over Ezekiel, and maybe Carol, actually, I think she knew about his cancer or anything, like, you know, the lump on his shoulder. So I wonder if it's about that or anything. Maybe, like, you know, Henry, or just anything. Obviously, like, you know, the war probably had a huge emotional impact on all of them. But I will admit, it looks like they're in Alexandria, because of, like, you know, kind of the fence with the holes in them and everything. That's something that you see a lot in Alexandria, and just not really anywhere else. Maybe the Kingdom, but I highly doubt they're in the Kingdom. So I'm assuming heavily that this is Alexandria, because it looks like, you know, the windows in Alexandria, like all the houses. So yeah, they're probably in Alexandria and anything. Like, you know, they probably went with, like, you know, Maggie, Daryl, Herschel Jr. and anything, because we love, like, you know, the walls that we did see in the shot that they were all in. So I'm assuming they all went back to Alexandria to see the impact of what happened there. And next we see a clapboard. In the final shot, we see a clapboard kind of going away from a Commonwealth soldier's face, or a Commonwealth soldier's face. And I do wonder if this is the same one that Eugene was staring at and everything, because I'm not gonna lie, this shot looks so fucking cool, because, like, the background all behind this character is just, like, blacked out and everything. We just see, like, the main focus is this one soldier. So I do wonder if this, like, one soldier has any kind of, like, you know, importance in this episode. Like, you know, if it's someone that Eugene's just gonna be, like, talking to, since he does make extreme eye contact with this one soldier at the end of episode 16. So I do wonder if this is the same exact soldier, since they did, like, you know, highlight this soldier, like, directly in here. They could have shown all of them and everything, but they decided to focus on this one right here. So I do wonder if this soldier holds any, like, you know, importance sense. I also do wonder if this, because I think I did hear a rumor, or not a rumor, but more so a theory that this could be Morgan's son, which I don't doubt and would be really, really cool. Since at first I was thinking that, like, you know, maybe they'd be coming, like, the Fear Squad would be coming over to, like, you know, The Walking Dead. Would make sense for, like, you know, Morgan to see the picture on, like, you know, the memory wall or whatever that was, like, you know, Michonne saw her daughter on. But then I heard that they were doing a season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead, and I was like, oh, okay, there goes that theory. Unless, like, you know, maybe season 7 ends right before, like, you know, season 11, which I guess might makes sense, it might happen, but that would overall be really cool in my opinion. But so yeah, that was my breakdown for the season 10C teaser for The Walking Dead season 10C, and there was a lot of really cool stuff in this teaser, like, you know, Herschel Jr., Maggie's return, them going back to Alexandria, some more shots of Elijah and everything, just in general, like I said, Maggie's return, Herschel Jr., then one character that's gonna be, like, you know, really happy to see Gabriel and Aaron, but more so, like, you know, Gabriel. I'm very interested in what's gonna happen between all of them, and also how we got to see, like, you know, a flashback of Negan, and our first official shot of Lucille and everything, or Hillary Byrne in the Lucille attire. But yeah, just in general, like, our first official shot of Lucille, and that one focused shot on that Commonwealth soldier, which I'm just still wondering, does he have any significance in this, like, you know, back half, or yeah, very back half of season 10? But that was all I really could pick from this, like, you know, teaser and anything. Make sure to comment down below if I did miss anything, or if there's anything that you are, like, just in general really excited for season 10C. Anything, what are you most excited for in season 10C? Are you excited to first, like, finally see Herschel Jr., Maggie's return, Lucille and Negan flashbacks, and just in general the Here's Negan episode? What do you think will happen between Gabriel and that one character and everything? And also, like, what is his name and everything? Because I know he's a really popular actor, I just cannot remember what his name is. Be able to have a conversation down below in the comments section. And also, before I did end this video, I did want to make a very quick kind of, like, you know, announcement, since this is, like, you know, being recorded, like, you know, after my huge fucking break. I'm very highly aware that I've been away for a really long time, and I definitely plan on coming back, since I'm getting just back into the schedule of just, like, you know, because it's kind of hard to, like, you know, make videos and edit during, like, you know, break and everything, like, because we've been on Christmas break, because I kind of get into this very lazy mood where I just don't feel like doing anything, and just, you know, and I guess that's my reason. But I definitely do plan on getting way back into, like, you know, making videos and making just tons and tons of videos, because there's tons for me to catch up on. Also, I'm pretty much have given up on doing individual episode reviews for, like, you know, World Beyond and, like, you know, Fear the Walking Dead season 6, like, you know, A, and I'm pretty much just gonna do, like, you know, season reviews and everything. Like, I'm gonna do season 6A for Fear the Walking Dead, the Walking Dead World Beyond season 1 review and everything, and just all of that, and then I'll, like, you know, start doing episode by episode reviews once, like, you know, they all start back up again, especially the Walking Dead season 10C. So yeah, I'm back and everything to making videos and everything. I definitely do want to make more, and yeah, I'm back and everything. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video and everything. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more of the latest in the Walking Dead universe and more breakdowns like this. And like I said, this teaser will be linked down below, so make sure you go check that out and everything if you guys have not already. And yep, so you guys later, my amigos, and peace out.